Very good evening to one and all, and good morning for people who, if you're joining from different locations. My name is Divya. I'm the project manager and I lead this team, the Fit Indian. And we are a team of nutritionists. We have on the panel Devi Gajendran and Hana Seham. Thank you very much, first of all, for joining this live Q&A session with the Fit Indian team. The Fit Indian is a health and nutrition fitness company, which is coming as part of Pirate Fitness Private Limited. I welcome you all to this online session and thank you so much for joining on time. We will keep waiting for 2 more minutes for others to join and we will start our webinar soon without a further ado. Meanwhile, we wait for other participants to join. I would just like to make you feel comfortable with the Zoom meeting. I hope during this lockdown time, we all have used at least once Zoom meetings. So you're all aware of it, I guess. So we have a chat option, chat button. If you click on the chat, you can post all your questions during the live Q&A session and our nutritionists will try to answer all your questions during the session. And also we have created another platform for you to put down your questions. Alternatively, I have just shared that in the chat with you. You can post your questions and we will take it during the webinar. Let me introduce to you our nutritionists on panel, Ms. Devi Gajendran. She is our senior nutritionist. She has done her post-graduation in foods and nutrition. She has close to 13 years of experience in the field of nutrition and fitness. Devi has done nutrition counseling, planning therapeutic diets, weight loss diets, fitness and nutrition, and also working with our team since 3+ years. She has served different clients with different conditions like diabetes, thyroid, PCOS, obesity, and many more to name. We also have on our panel Hana Seham. She has done her post-graduation in nutrition and dietetics. She has 2 years of experience in the field of nutrition and dietetics and also has expertise in nutrition counseling, clinical nutrition, fitness, and medical nutrition therapy. So welcome Devi and Hana to our panel.
Hi all, good evening. I'm Devi here.
Thank you, Devi.
Hello everyone, I'm Hana Seham and I'm welcoming you all for this webinar.
Thank you, Hana. So let us move further to discuss what are the points that we'll be discussing in our webinar. In this presentation, we will quickly review about how nutrition supports our nutrition overall health and also our health and well-being. So this nutrition covers all the health basics related to physical and mental health that you need to know. And also for the lifestyle changes that we can follow from our expert nutritionists, which will help in our day-to-day lives. This webinar is open to anyone and everyone. So as you have received the live webinar link, you are open to share this webinar link with your friends and family members even now. This webinar will continue until 5 p.m. IST. To talk about the agenda of the webinar, we are dealing with the health and causes of health ailments initially. Then the nutritionist will talk about the outcomes of poor health and how right nutrition can help in maintaining good health. Post that, after a quick session, we will have a question and answer section with our nutrition and health, and also the features and benefits of online nutrition services that we are providing with the Fit Indian. Give the presentation to Devi and Hana. Please continue. Thank you.
Hi all. It is very important to opening to this webinar. For a person to be healthy, there are three concepts to be taken into consideration. One is physical, mental, and the social well-being. But many of us decide health of an individual whether based on the illness. If a person has an illness, we term them unhealthy. If they don't have, healthy. But health illness alone doesn't contribute the determining the health aspect of an individual. You have to see the physical health as well as the mental health and social health, which equally contributes the individual's health perspective. So what are the things, determinants of our overall health? If you see 40% is contributed by the individual behavior. So for your health status, you are responsible. So when and other factors are all dependent on this individual fact behavior. Then next comes the genetics. Though 30%, that is not much impact. When 40% you can handle yourself, the 30% can also be reduced. And social circumstances, environmental factors, and healthcare plays the least role. So majority seeing this determinants, everybody would have got an idea, my health is in my hand. So everybody should know the importance of a health, not only handling physically, but also mental and social well-being. The mental health states means how to handle stress in the current lifestyle. That contributes majority to our mental health. And social well-being, how well we are with our environment, what are the good habits we have inculcated in our regular practice, which contributes to the health. Now we will look on into the causes of the health ailments.
So when we are talking about the causes of health ailments, there are many factors which lead to the health condition becoming more worsened. So the first one is poor dietary habits. Poor dietary habits are a major cause of health ailments. Poor nutrition can impair our daily health and well-being and can reduce our ability to lead an active life. When our dietary habits are poor, it can contribute to the risk of developing some illnesses and other health problems, such as being overweight or obese, and your cholesterol levels might increase, your chances of developing diabetes may increase, and you may also develop eating disorders. Then, when there's lack of exercise, it has been clearly shown that this is a major risk factor for developing many diseases such as heart disease, diabetes. When your sleep pattern is not proper, it can be seen that it shortens the life expectancy, and then the sleep is actually helps to boost your immunity, it boosts the mental well-being. So a lot of studies have suggested that people who usually sleep less than 5 hours a night have an increased risk of developing diabetes. So we should focus on our sleep also, which is a major risk factor which causes poor health. Now stress. Stress is another factor which impacts health. When our body is under stress, it releases certain hormones. Now these hormones cause our muscles to tense and pulse levels in our body increases. So over time, it puts all of us at an increased risk for health problems. When our weight is not proportionate to height, we face a lot of problems that we see that we are underweight and overweight, which directly affects our health. When you're underweight, you might know what the different problems you might face. When your body is overweight, again, it leads to poor health. When talking about excessive consumption of supplements, this is harmful because short-term complications like liver and kidney problems might occur, because when you consume supplements in a large quantity, it has a direct effect on your liver and kidney functions. Another very important thing that people do not take care of is self-medication. Selection of use of medication to treat self-diagnosed conditions or symptoms is very dangerous, and most people do not realize the potential risks associated with it. So this might have adverse reactions that are caused in our body, and we have to understand that in every industry there are experts, and experts are there for a reason. So we should not practice self-medication. So when we've understood about the causes of health ailments, let's understand what are the short-term outcomes of poor health.
So when we see the short-term outcomes, many of us would have experienced the below listed symptoms, but we try to ignore them. We will say it's for a short duration, why I should address it. But if these problems are not addressed, it might lead to a long-term health complication. What are the short-term health complications? Maybe your immunity level is low. Throughout the day, you feel tired and exhausted. You are not active when you wake up in the morning itself. That is one of the risk factors. It is one of indicator that your health is in a bad status or it's started deteriorating. And frequent cold, cough and fever. And whenever we get a fever, cold or cough, first we reach out is we take a medicine and pop out. But we don't see in what frequency the episodes are repeating. You might be getting cold and cough frequently once in 15 days, once in a month. That's not good. And joint and body pains. The joint and body pains usually occur due to the inflammation and excessive body fat. As these conditions start, your digestion system also starts reacting, and it causes inflammation. The poor digestion indicator symptoms are you will feel bloated, acidity, and lack of digestion problem comes up. the difficulty in losing or gaining weight. Few individuals who are underweight, though they eat adequate calories required for them, it's very difficult for them to gain weight or lose weight. Adversely, it has an impact on our health. And other symptom, simple thing everyone faces is shortness of breath. Even for a small walk, when you climb a stairs, definitely you will feel, but we will ignore it at that particular point of time, and we don't realize it is one indicator that something is going wrong with my health. We should address it. Next, like confusion and lack of decision making. This comes because when you're not able to handle stress for a long time, lack of sleep causes a symptom of confusion and lack of decision making, and being more prone to infection. All this add up to this and bring your immunity level low, and current situation is facing with the disease is fighting with the immunity level. So if your immunity is strong, it is one key to live long life and a healthy life. So try to build your immunity and address all these problems. It's not that once you get a fever or a cold you have to address it. Check how frequently you get all these symptoms. Make a note of it if you're not able to remember it. Check what is going wrong with your personal things. If not, make a diary. It is a very easy way to note down. And if you are not able to come to a decision, please check with your physician or a nutritionist you can reach out immediately. These short-term outcomes are not addressed. It might be leading to a long-term outcomes which are unchangeable, and it can lead to death also sometimes.
So, as Devi has just mentioned, that when short-term problems or short-term outcomes are not treated or controlled at the right time, these may lead to the long-term outcomes. So, as humans, when we experience the short-term outcomes very frequently, we tend to ignore them. We do not take care of ourselves at the right time unless something really big happens. We focus on the bigger problems instead of focusing on the shorter problems in life. So we need to understand when our health is affected, the long-term complications are obesity, overweight, which is a very big problem today, because this is one problem which will lead to many other disorders. Like when you develop obesity, you are at an increased risk of developing heart diseases, diabetes. Everything is interrelated. So you might also experience hormonal imbalances like insulin resistance and thyroid disorders. Now, when your lifestyle is not right, you might also, experience obesity, type 2 diabetes mellitus, and heart diseases. So similarly, there are inflammatory, digestive, and deficiency diseases, all for different reasons that we experience because we ignore the short-term outcomes. When our health affected, we need to understand that we need the treatment at the right time and we need to cure it properly. When you feel that anybody has been affected with a long-term outcomes, we need to start addressing the problem at the right time. Try to follow a proper diet and indulge in physical activity, and make a checklist of all the things that you need to focus on these long-term outcomes. So when we looked at what are long-term outcomes, let us move on to the ways that can help us to avoid these complications.
So when you see these outcomes, it is a sign that is your body trying to convey something to you, that I'm not okay, but you are the right person to address it. You should respect yourself, your body. It's not that you respect only your soul, but also your physical and the mental body. So the first method too is like right diet. Everybody will tell I'm eating right. I don't need this. I don't need that. But it's not so. It is matter with the quantity of food also. Many people say I live on fruits. I live on brown rice. Eat only organic foods. But what is the quantity? As we mentioned, the quantity is also important. A quick tip for you for this following a right diet is morning. Let it be a good complex carbohydrate diet. For lunch, if you can divide your lunch plate, which is of 10 to 12 inches in diameter, into 4. So in that 4, one portion can be your cereal like rice, rotis, or other cereal, whatever you're consuming. Even a boiled vegetable also you can take. It comes under cereal only. It's equivalent like a cereal. So the second portion will be like protein intake, which can be a dal, non-vegetarian source, or any legumes. The next 2 portions, it's going to be the vegetables for your meal. And a small half cup of curd or 1 glass of buttermilk. This will be a kind of a balanced lunch for you. The type of cereal, pulses, and the vegetable included in the plate will vary according to the condition of the person. Next is the dinner. Dinner is going to be the lightest meal. So what I suggest is, instead of making your meal plate as 4 in the lunch, make it as 3. In 3, make it a cereal and pulse as a combination, and that vegetable portion, make it as a soft cooked vegetables, which can be easily digested so that you have sustained energy also, since you're consuming good amount of fiber in your diet. And people who have a problem of sleeping in the night, just before sleep, have a warm cup of water, milk. If you're feeling my milk is like too fatty on it, go for opt for skim milk, but cut down on the sugar you're adding to the milk. That is one of the best diet you can follow throughout the day. And every day try to consume minimum 1 fruit. We say 2 fruits, at least we'll start with 1 fruit now, maybe down 15 days you can improve it 2 fruits a day. And you can have 10 almonds or 4 walnuts, like that. These kind of additions makes your diet throughout the day very balanced. And eat different variety of vegetables every day. Don't make the same, and don't eat the same fruit every day. Next comes the exercise part. When you say exercise, it's not that you go to a gym and you work out, that is considered as an exercise. Even a climbing a stairs for some time, like 15-20 minutes, it's an exercise for you. Doing some meditation, it's a relaxation technique, and also it improves your overall blood circulation. So either it be yoga, meditation, or playing even a sport, or just simple exercise of doing a brisk walking is considered as an exercise. So don't keep away yourself from exercise, saying that only if I hit a gym, it's considered as an exercise. No, any kind of a movement in the body with sweating is considered as an exercise, and anything is relaxing your mind is also an exercise. So try practicing exercise whichever way, whichever form you like. Enjoy that. Next, lifestyle, sound sleep. I think many of our sleep is one of the major cause of lifestyle diseases, where we sleep only of 6 hours. Few people are proud enough saying, I sleep for 8 hours, 9 hours, and all. But that 8 hours, 9 hours is also not a good quality of sleep. And the time you go to bed and wake up is very important, because there is a particular point of time in the night time where your body undergoes complete regeneration. Your wear and tear of the cell happens. See, as you need a when we are working in an office, we need a leaves or breaks to stay away in the home. But same way, our body also needs it every day for its wear and tear process. That break is a sleep. So you have to provide an adequate sleep to regenerate it for your body cells. And staying away from social habits, it's better, but people, it is better to stay away, but people who are in having some social habits, it is better to control it. You cannot stay away completely or remove the addiction immediately, but slowly, but you'll have a good progress. And being physically active adds on to all of this. So diet with proper diet with right amount of exercise and a good lifestyle, making it's going to make your body sound and mind also sound and a very healthy body. Next, we'll move on to the role of nutrition, especially diet, in controlling this health.
So nutrition has a direct impact on your overall health and quality of life. Good nutrition is an important part of leading a healthy lifestyle. So what you eat and how much you eat has an impact on your health, a direct impact on your health. So we should be very careful about what we eat and how much we eat, because it directly affects our health. So when you incorporate a healthy diet in your daily life, you fuel your body with nutrients that are important for your health. You feel energized, your ability to fight infections starts to improve, you are at a reduced risk for developing chronic diseases. Good nutrition has a lot of benefits. It promotes our overall health, our immunity levels directly increases because of the food we eat. Sometimes we do not realize that our body deserves a lot of attention and care. So it's important for us to understand our body's cues, and we need to provide our body with adequate amount of nutrients from a good diet. So when a good and balanced diet is a part of your lifestyle, you do not have to worry much about the other things, because you're taking care of your health at the very first step.
Now, as we elaborated on you about the how nutrition plays a role, what are the health ailments, we would like to have a question answer session with you, so you can have all your queries presented. We are ready to answer your queries.
Thank you, Devi and Hannah, for the insightful talk on role of health and nutrition in our day-to-day lifestyle. So we are ready to take all the questions. You may use your chat option, chat box, for posting the questions. Alternatively, the bit.ly link that I have shared, I'm sharing it again in the chat box. You can post your questions in the link as well. So let me start with some of the questions that we have received. So one question is that, is fiber recommendable for a person suffering from GERD? If not,
So,
what is suitable diet for that?
okay. So GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disease, and fiber plays a very important role in this disease. Besides, its role in helping us to cut the risk of certain cancers, lowering cholesterol, and controlling our blood sugar levels. This fiber helps to increase the motility of your gut. So when a person is affected with GERD, they are consuming less fiber in their diet. This leads to the gut motility being decreased. This directly affects the motility of your gut, which in response, it delays your gastric emptying. Delaying gastric emptying means that your stomach is full, which in turn, is you're putting your stomach at a direct risk of acid reflux. So when your stomach is not getting emptied the right time properly, you're putting at a risk. You're putting your stomach at a risk of acid reflux, which is a major problem seen in patients with GERD. So fiber, the amount of fiber and an increased level of fiber is very important in this condition.
Thank you, Hannah, for that. I also would like to ask if anyone would like to directly talk to our nutritionist and ask a question, you may raise your hand. And we will let you talk directly one-to-one with them by asking a question. So one more common question that we have got, which most of us would want to ask the nutritionist, is that we have tried different types of diets and different types of crash diets or diet plans, or even we had followed quinoa or millets, etc. But shedding the extra pounds or kilos is difficult. How can we follow? How do we know the best diet to follow?
So any diet which has the right combo of the nutrients is the best diet. So as you said, you have tried all the ways to lose weight, but one thing is many people want to see the changes only in the scale. They directly rely only on the scale whether I'm losing in digits. Has it come down? There are few people or few body type where they don't lose the body weight in digits. Instead, they lose in inches. The fat percentage in the body comes down. So it's better you should start judging yourself whether you're losing it in inches or not, rather than on a bathroom scale. So the best diet will be inclusion of complex carbohydrates and a good amount of protein. Say, for example, if you're 60 kgs, 70 kgs, you have to calculate 1 gram per kg body weight, you can say. So on an average, you should consume 60 grams of protein and fat as 20 to 30% of contributors of your total calories. How much calorie you should consume will be determined by your nutritionist and not by yourself. Many people, you see, just they Google it, take the diet plan from the net, and they start following. They doesn't know whether it is apt for their age, apt for the condition. Just blindly they follow it. Please don't follow any diet because it might have an adverse health impact on your health. One might be good for you, may not be the same for the other person. So it is better to get a individual customized diet plan as per your need.
Definitely, Devi, I do agree with you. So that being said, we have also come up with this online consultation plan, just an update for everyone who's attending our webinar. So as you can see on the screen, we have come up with different types of diet plans, and definitely the customized diet plan will work. And we have Devi and Hannah who have curated these diet plans using their expertise. And we also have a certified fitness trainer in our team who will help us with the workouts. So based on the plans, you will be getting the benefits of it. Moving forward, we are getting a lot of questions from our users. Devi and Hannah, you may as well answer the questions accordingly.
All right. So someone, Javeria has asked us, can you help with cholesterol lowering foods? Yes, Javeria, there are foods that can help us to actually control and reduce the cholesterol levels. You can try to consume foods such as whole grains in the sense oatmeal, oat bran, foods like this, which can help you to reduce your cholesterol. There are some fruits like apples, bananas, oranges, pears and prunes. Such fruits are also helpful in lowering your cholesterol. Apart from this, a diet rich in legumes such as kidney beans, lentils, and chickpeas, high protein. This is also helpful to lower the cholesterol levels.
Divya, can you present the next question, please?
Yeah. So someone has asked, is warm water with lemon and honey on an empty stomach helpful to cut down calories? So basically, what happens is when you consume water on an empty stomach every day, it happens that like when your water intake is increased, there is an increase in your metabolism, because when you consume more fluids in your diet, you tend to feel fuller. So this helps you cut down on other ways, where you binge eat on a lot of other things. So this is one way which is helpful to cut down the calories.
Hannah, next question,
So,
please.
yes, ma'am. Someone has asked, is having a fat diet good?
The direct answer is no to it. Maybe you may get a result in a day or two, but you will gain the double the quantity of weight you have lost, and complementary to that, you will have other ailments coming. You are inviting other ailments into your body. So fat diet can be short term, can make you happy, but not your body. So it is always
And
advisable to follow a balanced diet for any condition, and even for weight loss also, where the results are long lasting and sustaining in a healthy way.
hello.
Yes.
I have a question. Can you please tell me what are the foods that we can consume for better gut health?
For better gut health, first at home treatment will be like start including curd, fresh homemade curd in your regular diet.
Okay.
So if you're, for example, if you're going for consuming a curd for lunch, it's better you ferment in the morning. And also it is better you opt for all soft cooked vegetables. That will be the first change you can bring in your diet.
Hello. One more
Yes.
question I have is what are the type of oils that we should consume? Like nowadays there are different types of oils like olive oil and all. So what is the best one for consumption?
Right. When you talk about oils, people usually are confused as to what you should pick up on the shelf, or what kind of oil you should incorporate in your daily diet. So you might have heard of cold press oils. These cold press oils are the best kind of oils that should be used for cooking purposes, as these retain healthy healthy antioxidants. Usually what happens is in refined oils, they go a lot of processing, which and their refined oils are directly exposed to a lot of heat. So such cold press oils are not exposed to heat. This preserves their antioxidant nature. Besides this, the cold press oils are also rich in vitamin E, which have anti-inflammatory and healing properties. So we should keep in mind that there should always be a mixture of oils that you use. So for example, if you use one oil for 15 days, for the next 15 days you should change your oil. So because each oil has a specific fatty acid which our body needs. So the best kind of oils, the cold press oils which can be consumed, are groundnut oils, sesame oils, and rice bran oils.
There is a
You're
one
welcome.
question from one client. Can you please let us know about the sodium and the salt and the sodium replacement of a food you have asked? So sodium and salt replacement, it will be like vegetables only. For example, if you're preparing any curries or a thing, you add more of garlic, onion, it will give you a salty taste. And one way to cut down the salt intake per day is you can prepare your one dish without salt and other dish with salt. So you can think, without salt, how can I eat my food? No, it's not so. For example, if you're preparing rotis, you need not add salt to your roti when you're making the dough. You can make this curry with the salt. You can make only one or two curries with salt. Others can be without salt. By this, you can manage your salt intake throughout the day. For your salads, you can incorporate most of grated ginger, onion, or garlic as per your taste, or you can just squeeze a bit of lime to get the salty taste. That will be a great way to give you the taste of salt.
Yes. So another user has asked asked us, can you suggest some tips for healthy snacking? So this is a very nice question, and I really often come across clients that generally ask me such questions, that they often feel very hungry and they want an option for healthy snacking. So you can opt for healthy stuff like puffed rice or murmura. You can make it into a vegetable, you can mix it with vegetables and make a puffed rice vegetable chaat. Besides this, if you're opting for some non-vegetarian snacks, you can take an egg white and make an egg white spinach omelette. Besides this, you can also have fruits in your snacks, fruits as a part of your snacks, and you can combine it with things like almond butter. And you can also have different smoothies, such as you can mix ginger, mint, muskmelon, just combine a few fruits with ginger, mint, make changes and alterations, and this can be consumed as snacks.
There was one question about the goitrogens for a thyroid person, for individuals with thyroid. As such, if you say there are a list of foods, vegetables which has to be avoided for people with thyroid. But for example, in a day we are consuming cabbage or cauliflower, we don't consume it like a half a kg for one person. Hardly in a family, a person consumes 100 grams. So what you can do is, best way to remove the goitrogens is just cook the vegetable in excess amount of water. That particular vegetables, the cruciferous vegetables, we term it like cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, in excess amount of water, and then you can use the vegetable for cooking. Out of this, you might ask, I'm losing the nutrients from this vegetable. Though you're nutring the certain nutrients from the vegetables, the same thing you can opt it from other vegetables. So I just suggest you to go for this type of vegetable weekly, like on alternate days, not on a regular basis. So anything or everything need not be avoided completely, but the quantity which we take has to be taken care, since it's all are in the natural form.
Thank you, Devi. We have questions coming in from other sources also.
Yes.
So one question is, can hemorrhoids be treated with food and diet?
Yes. If it's an acute stage, we can treat with food and diets, because the basic cause of hemorrhoids is lack of fiber and water intake in the diet, plus lifestyle. So food rich in fiber and soft foods which doesn't have which doesn't make you feel heavy and does not have an impact on your digestive system are advisable. So for the first line, it is better advised to avoid them as spicy food or deep fried food. Go for a very soft diet like cooked rice, soft cooked rice or dal rice, those kind of things for the initial stages. With vegetables also soft cook. Green leafy vegetables are very good option. You can make a mashed curry with the green leafy vegetables. And you can take every day one cucumber. 1 cup of grated cucumber will add to your water intake as well as to the fiber intake of the day. This is a great way you can start up.
So another user has asked us, why do women after age 40 struggle more with weight loss and also struggle with weight loss during menopause? So usually as the age of a woman, okay, so usually after the age of 40, and as the age of a woman starts to increase, she starts experiencing hormonal changes, and the metabolism of the body slows down. This is usually after the age of 40, they start to lose lean muscle. So that is why there is an increase in the fat amount of percentage of fat in the body, and the body starts to become more insulin resistant. So there are a lot of factors because of which we tend to increase the weight after the age of 40, and the other factors are that the appetite cues are confused during this age, and also women are more stressed out during this age. Answer to this is following a balanced diet and increasing the amount of protein and making changes according to whatever the cause of your weight gain is. So a lot of people are also asking us quick tips for controlling diabetes. So for diabetes, a lot of people do not know that methi seeds or fenugreek seeds, they contain a compound, namely trigonelline. This compound is it's very good for and helps to control the blood sugar levels. Besides this, warm water with cinnamon powder also helps to control the diabetes, and an increased amount of protein should be taken as a part of your daily diet. Besides this, a person should focus on consuming whole grains such as oatmeal, quinoa, and brown rice. in order to control the diabetes and lower the blood sugar levels.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes,
So,
sir. How can I help?
which is better, fruit or fruit juice?
All right. So the
Fruit
answer
is
to this
better.
is fruit. Yes. So because in a fruit there is fiber. Fiber is very good for our gut health. So when you grind this fruit and it's in the form of fruit juice, there is no fiber present. The fiber is lost. So definitely fruit is better. Besides this, fruits also contain fructose. This is which is a fruit sugar with a lot of vitamins and minerals added to it. But in a fruit juice, there are a lot of concentrated sugars which are retained. And besides this, the fiber in the fruit also helps to lower the glycemic index of overall meals and is digested slowly. A glycemic index is basically a factor associated with diabetes. So high glycemic index foods raise your blood sugar levels quickly, and low glycemic index foods, they help to lower your blood sugar. Similarly, juices, they increase the glycemic index and are digested very quickly, so the sugar is easily absorbed. So when you consume the fruit, the fiber has a lot of benefits in the fruit. Besides this, a very important factor is when you talk in terms of the packed fruit juices, they have a lot of additives, preservatives, and extra calories present, which fruit is very rich in nutrients and it does not have all this. So when you have to weigh or compare a fruit and a fruit juice, you should definitely opt for fruit.
One linked in question to this, Hannah. So we tend to see chemicals in fruits. We tend to hear a lot about it. How do we handle that?
So chemicals in food. So one thing you should be very careful is from where you purchase your foods, and you should know, like, there are a lot of things that you can visibly experience. I mean, visibly with practice, a person becomes perfect. So when you notice a fruit, you can actually visibly see that how it has been grown, or if there are, chemicals added to it, and you should find out the source from where you're purchasing it. It's not very easy to do that, but try to indulge and ask more about it, and try to get your stuff more directly from the farms. We have a lot of people supplying things to directly from the farms, and which is good. This It's very dangerous right now to consume fruits which are usually have a lot of effect of chemicals on it. So you need to be more careful about where you purchase the things from. Any other questions?
Yes, we are having a lot of questions coming in. So
Yes,
people are
Divya.
asking about PCOS problem. It's a
Yeah.
common problem among many women. People with normal weight, what
Huh.
kind of diet they have to follow, although they have PCOS? They don't have weight issues.
Yes. See, PCOS is basically a lifestyle disorder accompanied with the imbalances in the hormone. So, person with a normal weight, the diet to be followed is basically it should address to alleviate improve the symptoms of PCOS. So a person has to concentrate on the increased consumption of protein and good fats, that is unsaturated fats. So usually people with PCOS and all, they say, no, I already have PCOS. If I eat fat, I'll gain weight and all. No, don't ignore that. Start consuming good fats in the form of nuts. It is always better to opt for cold pressed oil, especially in PCOS, instead of going for refined oils where you get the goodness of the unsaturated fatty acids. And majority of your meal can be protein concentrated. And add on to this, keep exercising.
And one more question coming in for a person with kidney stones, what foods they should include and what foods they should avoid?
So there are different type of kidney stones. In general, we cannot generalize diet plans for as a kidney stones. Based on the type of the kidney stones only we can suggest. But a basic key is keep yourself hydrated. Drink enough amount of water, ample amount of water, and include good amount of fresh fruits which are antioxidant rich, so that you don't have any further complications of kidney. And you should keep a check on your protein intake also. You have to maintain the 1 gram per kg body weight. If still the condition, it's based on the condition, if still it has to be reduced further.
Okay. So another user is asking us, in a month, how many kgs of weight do we have to reduce? like the healthy weight loss? So this is a very good question, and usually people are really confused when it comes to weight loss. A healthy weight loss per month is about 1 to 2 kgs. This is with a proper diet and physical activity that you should lose. And now I see many people following the fat diets. They're like, yes, I'm on keto diet, I'm on this diet, that, a lot of other diets, fat diets, and they lose weight very quickly, and they proudly declare that they have lost a certain amount of weight. But after a certain point of time, when they stop this fat diets, they tend to regain the weight again. So it's very important to follow up before stepping into something which is not scientifically proven or something which is fat. So you have to be very careful and think before you act and stepping into something. Like when you step into fat diets and lose unhealthy weight very quickly, you're putting yourself at a danger of many other things which will make you prone to many diseases. So it's always better to get in touch with your physician, your nutritionist, and your fitness trainer before starting off with anything, because these people are the right people who will guide you to lose weight in a healthy way. Any other questions?
Anna, we have one question. It's from a diabetic patient. What kind of fruits do you suggest for them to eat? Because whatever they try to control, it will still shoot up their blood sugar levels.
Right. So for a diabetic diet, a person, it's good for a person to have a high fiber diet. So now high fiber foods are foods such as apples, kiwis, guavas, and a lot of other things. Now one thing that the diabetic patient should avoid is fruits such as bananas, chickus, grapes, and all of this. Besides this, when you feel that a certain food like apples and guava these foods have a lot of fiber, so these foods are foods that can be consumed, and foods like bananas, chiku are foods that need to be avoided.
And add-on answer to this question, it's that since this is a mango season, many people are fond of mangoes, but still they doesn't want to undergo their taste, but they don't want to forgive their love, the loving for the fruit for mangoes. So what you can do is, instead of building a craving for a particular fruit, you can mix few pieces of your mango with your regular fruit salad. A fruit salad made up of other fruits and chiku, bananas or mango. Any one can be added few slices and you can enjoy the taste of the fruit.
I would like to remind that we are getting too close to our closing time of the Q&A session. So we can take 5 more minutes for questions. If any questions, you can please ask in the chat box. We will try to answer. Okay. So someone has asked some healthy tips for hair.
Yes, healthy tips for hair. Hair basically, it's what to say. The health of your hair is basically depends on your protein intake, vitamin intake, and also your stress level. So when you're on a low protein intake or your vitamin or mineral intake is low, you have a severe hair fall, and even you don't have a sleep or a lot of stress, which will generate a body heat. Because of these situations like stress and lack of sleep, your body starts generating heat and you will start losing hair. So advisable is for you, you can start, if you're a non-vegetarian, you can start eating 1 egg daily. If you're a vegetarian, don't worry, you also have an option. You can start eating pulses or sprouts every day in the evening snack or with your breakfast. That will be an ideal option. And also you can have 2 to 3 walnuts every day. With 1 fig will be a good accompaniment to treat your hair problem.
So another user has asked us the question that what type of food should be consumed by vegetarians which will have food nutrients like vitamin B12 and calcium. So the answer, the best kind of food that you can have for this are green leafy vegetables which are high in calcium and vitamin B12. Besides this, you can opt for milk and milk products, and you can also make yogurt and cheese a part of your diet. And besides this, you can consume more of pulses, but the pulses that you consume, you should be careful that it should be whole, unpolished pulses. Any other question?
Yes, Hannah. We have spoken about weight loss and conditions diet plans. How about weight gain? So some people at gym, they suggest protein powders for bodybuilding and building weight. Is that a right option? Can you suggest?
Yes,
Consumption
Divya.
of protein powder or whey
Yes.
protein powder, is it good or is it bad?
As a whey protein, it is not advisable for a normal person who is going for a weight gain to go dependent on the whey protein. If you're really not into a bodybuilding, if you're into a muscle building, is it okay? But maximum you should try to meet your protein requirement only through foods. You have wide variety of protein rich foods to included in the diet. Still, if you fail to gain weight through these foods, you should meet a qualified person to address your problem, to identify the underlying cause, rather than falling a prey for a third person to buy a whey protein, because consuming a whey protein in the long term will have an impact on your kidneys. And you can see in the news that many people who are in the bodybuilding field are having cardiac arrest or some of the other complications. It's because of the overuse of the supplements without the right guidance. So it is always, if you're very keen on using the whey protein, better do it under a proper guidance and a physician.
And one more person who is asking, foods for iron deficiency or anemic person, anything you suggest?
Yes, we can suggest fruits for in vegetarian source. Sprouts will be a very good option for iron. Sprouts, green leafy vegetables like moringa, spinach will meet the your iron requirement, but there is a way to take it to increase your iron absorption. For example, if you are taking sprouts, either you can take it accompanied with a glass of orange juice, or you can just simply sprinkle some lime juice on your sprouts to increase the iron absorption. And when you take some sprouts or fruits or fruit juices, never ever accompany with your green tea, which will inhibit the absorption of iron from the foods. So when you're taking a tea or coffee, never ever take it with any fruit or any sprouts or any other alternate to snacking. Take it tea or coffee individual. If you're not able to take it as an individual, take it with biscuits, not with any other fruits or vegetables. That is will be a good thing to kickstart your iron level. For non-vegetarians, red meat is a good option. And also egg is also a good option to improve your iron levels. Before checking your iron levels, also keep a check on your B12 consumption also. So include fruits which are rich in B12 and other micronutrients to improve your anemic status.
So another user has asked us, what type of food should be taken for osteoarthritis? So for osteoarthritis, the best foods that you can consume is, as part of a non-vegetarian diet, you can consume oily fishes such as salmon and tuna. Besides this, the type of oil that you can focus on is safflower oil. And for osteoarthritis, it's very important for a person to get enough amount of calcium and vitamin D. So you can consume milk products and whole eggs. Besides this, dark green leafy vegetables such as spinach are a very good source of calcium. And you can also opt for broccoli and include garlic and nuts also, and incorporate these foods in your diet.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Devi, for your insightful answers and question and answer session. Before closing this Q&A session, I would like to remind our users who have attended this webinar that we have come up with an online nutritionist consultation. I hope you liked our insightful speech from Devi and Hannah, and you would want to take a customized diet plan, or would want to know more about a specific condition, what to eat, what not to eat. We have made it easy for you. We have come up with as low as 499 rupees basic diet plan. This you can treat like a trial plan for 15 days. Definitely, if someone is looking for weight loss or weight gain, it will take more than 15 days. We will not guarantee that in 15 days you will lose weight or gain weight, but you should, it's a starting point. You try the healthy way of lifestyle, you try this diet plan for 15 days. And we also have come up with other options like a premium plan, which is 750 rupees. This is a recommended plan that we say, where you'll have an online nutritionist consultation with one of our nutritionists. They will suggest you the customized diet plan based on your health conditions, food preferences, likes and dislikes. We will also be there on WhatsApp support for the 15 days, and one review call will be allowed to take during these 15 days. We also have come up with a diamond and platinum plan. A diamond plan is a 30 days validity plan. And this is a 1 month plan wherein we also have included the workout video by our trainer. So the trainer will help on a quick video on this. And after that, the platinum plan is for 3 months, which is recommended for people who are seriously looking for weight loss or weight gain or other things. So you can have a look at this. I will provide the WhatsApp link here for you, and you can drop in your queries in our survey form. We will help you buy these diet plans with a simple process of the payment and a simple form filling. So I hope I'm clear on this, and I hope we have given a good insightful speech for you all. For any other queries, you can move ahead and drop in your questions in the survey form. Could you please share the survey form for us? Yes. So here we can, you can see the link of the survey form. You can please use this link and give us your feedback on today's speech or any doubts that you have. We also have a WhatsApp group. You can post your questions and queries there. If any other things you would like to discuss, you can raise hand and talk before we close the meeting. And definitely thank you, Hana and Devi, for giving us so much amount of information within this short 1 hour time.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
participating and making the session more lively.
Thank you everyone for being a part of this, and hopefully when we conduct more webinars, please do come back to us, and for further queries you can always contact us. We also have our Instagram, The Fit Indian, where you can get in touch with us.
Thank you all. That being done, we will close this session for now. For any other queries, you can reach out always to us using the survey form or the WhatsApp group. Thank you.